You're listening to the new WCEG Network. Find us on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Watch us on Smart TV, Roku, YouTube, LinkedIn, and WCEG Network. I'm William Bill Edwards, and I will be the host for you for the next hour. I am overwhelmingly pleased today to have as our special guest Dr. Maya Taylor, founder and executive director of Arrow Youth Leadership Council. In this segment, we're going to discuss the topic we all need to pay more attention to: youth leadership as its best. Pastor Taylor, thank you so much for being with us.
It is my honor, sir.
Okay, let's do this. Let's find out who Maya Taylor is, and we're going to give you the luxury of telling us that for a few minutes. Go right ahead.
Absolutely. It is an honor to sit with you tonight and have this great conversation. I am born and bred from Fairburn, Georgia. I'm 62 years old, married to Pastor Gary Taylor. I have 4 children and 1 grandchild, and I have been serving the community for 30 plus years, and I enjoy what I do.
And you have a daughter with the most beautiful voice I've heard in a long time.
Thank you so kindly.
and a dynamic husband for a pastor.
I do. I would agree with that.
Great family. Okay, let's dive into this. You know, everybody talks about youth. Everybody gets around the kitchen table and say, oh, well, I think I'm going to do a youth organization, and I'll call it ABC. And 2 things I've always been concerned about, Dr. Taylor. Number one is, are you really concerned about what you're saying when you talk about youth? You know, because it's hard. You just can't start in a young person's life and then leave later on. And then the other thing is your heart with the youth, or is your heart with a grant that you can get? Oh, that was ugly, wasn't it? But let's talk about. First of all, tell us a little bit about Arrow, then we'll talk about those things.
Yes, absolutely. 12 years ago, I began to look around and see the perplexity of our community in the metropolitan area. And I just knew that it was time for us as adults to not only ignite in our young children leadership, but to train them how to be leaders. Because what I began to notice was that they were being influenced by negativity instead of positivity. So for 12 years, we have been training young people to target their potential and change our world. And we do that through 4 rules of engagement: thought leadership, teach them how to be critical thinkers, right? Make good decisions. Change leadership, how to be advocates and peer mentors for their generation. Focus leadership, what is your college and career purpose? What are your goals in life? And then finally, servant leadership. We've trained them how to take all those 3 things, mind, mouth, heart, and hands, and serve humanity. And so we've been doing that for 12 solid years, of which I'm very, very excited and honored to say that we have rising doctors, attorneys. We just have teachers, politicians, young people that have gone, athletes, artists that have gone through our program. And we've been able to impact not only the metropolitan area, but national.
Oh, very, very, very good. How many kids are involved in the program now? And how does a person who may have a child that's interested in the program get involved?
Great. So everything starts with a core. And our youth council, the executive cabinet, usually has between 12 and 20 students as the executive cabinet. And from the outflow of the executive cabinet, then we begin to reach out into the schools and into the communities. The question was asked, how do students become a part, number one, of the executive cabinet? We do our recruitment January through March every year. And those students who want to serve in a high-level leadership capacity as the executive cabinet, or the governance body, we like to call it, they have to go through a 3-week intensive, leadership intensive. Now, other students throughout the year can participate in just about every last one of our trainings, our youth programs, our after-school programs, day school programs, Saturday programs, but it all starts with the core.
And what about your relationship? Do you have a relationship with the school system?
Oh, yes, sir.
Or school system?
Yes, sir.
A little bit about that.
Yes. So one of the greatest things I'm proud of is that because our students come from the local school areas, we're able to tap into the schools. Pre-pandemic, we were at Langston Hughes, as an example, doing Lunch and Learn, where we served about 100 students twice a week. And then before then, we were at Woodland Middle School, where we would conduct everything from shutting the school down and doing boys and girls leadership camps to after school programs.
So you're Fairburn born and Fairburn raised. Somewhere down
Georgia Peach.
Somewhere down the line, you got this idea that I'm going to start something for youth. What I'm going to call it, and how am I going to make it work? When did you decide that?
Okay, so that's really, really simple. I am the product of mentorship. And my mentor actually was a dynamic graduate from Morris Brown College years ago. I started my mentoring, receiving mentoring through a choir. It was the Singing St. John Community Choir 40 plus years ago. And Mr. Patrick Arnold, some people know his mom, Mother Frankie Arnold.
Mother Frankie. Yeah.
He started using the arts and choir and music to pull young people off the streets. And hence, I just began to develop this love for how he and his family, the Arnold family, just impacted so many young people. So as I got older, it wasn't enough that I went to college. It wasn't enough that I knew how to sing or how I was headed towards Broadway, I thought, or it wasn't enough that I wanted my career. I wanted to do something impactful like the Arnold family had done. So that's kind of where it started. And so 12 years ago, I just said, I got to do something to impact our community. And I literally had a dream one night, and I thought about our children are always targeting each other. We need to teach them how to target their potential. So hence the arrows were born.
Now, you talk about the Arnolds. I know the Arnolds very well. I mean, they had more children that weren't theirs.
Yes.
And they were recognized one year by the president.
Yes.
For the outstanding job they did. So yeah, Mother Frankie is very, very prominent in the area.
Yes.
Now, you've had 2 name changes. You've gone. Yes. Tell us about that, because when you first started off, you were something else, and now today you're something different.
Absolutely. So literally 2019 going into 20, we were starting to stretch our wings towards the Black Wall Street 100th year commemoration. And we started getting conversations with partners outside of our set village. And I remember having a conversation with a young lady. She said, you know what? She said, I understand that you all are South Fulton Arrow Youth Council. I said, absolutely, because that's where we started. I said, and that had to do with the South Fulton region, not the city, because at that point, the city was not born yet. And so she said, so when people hear South Fulton, they only think South Metro. And about a year or two later, one of the students came to me and they were like, you know what? We need to go more global and we need to stretch outside the box. So they came up with the name, Arrow Youth Leadership Council International. And so that's how it went from South Fulton, representing just the South metropolitan area, to global.
Well, I know you have a lot of classes. We're going to talk about that for a minute. And then and also in your office, you have a lot of support people.
Yes.
Who are actually staged in your office. Let's talk about the classes that you offer and the support people that comes along with it.
Absolutely. So I am very, very excited that from the Youth Council, our outreaches go everywhere from teen anti-violence events to mentoring classes, how to mentor young people, to even innovation classes. right? Communication classes, everything you can. And last year we launched our actual Black Lens Youth Film Festival along with our literacy festival. So we begin to think that that's good. We're targeting these babies, right? And we have wraparound services. So inside our office, we have at least 5 mental health care providers, at least 5. We used to have a young lady who serviced babies who were on the autistic spectrum. She's still one of our partners, but our building was not conducive for her clientele. So we still reach out to her. And then we also have an insurance company there to help people get insurance. We partner with Walmart. We partner with Zion Hill CDC. We partner with so many people in our village, and we host classes, but we knew we had to go further. We knew we had to impact the children's parents. So this year, I'm so excited, in January, we're going to be launching what we call the Right Side Up campaign, which is still in line with our Black Wall Street 2.0. What that literally means is we're going to target the entire family. So we're going to hold parenting classes. I'm really excited about our partnership with an organization called As a Man Thinks. They're going to target young boys and their fathers and how to engage in proper relationships and to bring the fathers back to their sons so that we can help get our babies off the street.
That sounds wonderful because it has to start with the family.
Yes.
That, and we're teaching people how to be parents and how to own up to the responsibility of their children. I was privileged to be a part of your fall festival this year. I found it to be quite interesting, and from rattlesnakes to to arrows and bow and arrows. Tell me a little bit about that, and what did you expect to get out of that?
Absolutely. So we just moved to our new location, and I'm excited because we're now located in Shannon Towers on the 4th floor. And it gives us the ability to not only offer the wraparound services, but we have a really nice, large community space for others to come in. So we wanted to celebrate that. So what we did was we opened up our doors for a huge open house. And because we are a STEAM-generated organization, we believe in science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And we also believe in the R, which is really STREAM. So that's reading. So what we did was we had providers that came in and did everything from medication, flu shots, to beekeeping, to also a young man, he's called 8-legged. So he brought in snakes and tarantulas and all these spooky, weird things that the children loved. And because we're arrows, we always have to include archery, because we want everybody to understand that in our community, you have to extend the bow and you have to launch our babies into their destiny. So it was a lot of fun, and it gave the community an opportunity to learn more about what we do.
I was a terrible archer. I wouldn't stand in front of me. I think maybe I hit the block that the bullseye was on. I may have hit the bullseye, but it was a lot of fun. You had a lot of elected officials there.
Yes.
Lending their support to you. Let's talk a little bit about how do we finance all this? Where do we get some funding from?
Oh, yes. So here's the thing.
Besides Bill Edwards, but go ahead.
Okay. Of which we're very, very appreciative. Because we believe in the village, sir. We believe not only should we have relationships with people that are close, but also people that are near, people that are far away. And so we have a relationship with Coweta Fayette EMC. We have a relationship we've had funding from Allstate Insurance, Greystone, Georgia Power, but mostly from community members and houses of faith, the SCLC, and it just goes on and on and on. People who really believe in our legacy-driven mission. Because at the end of the day, in a few years, we're going to be ready to retire and move on. And our world is only going to look as good as that we've prepared our children to work in. So it is our responsibility. This moment commends us. It literally commissions us to train our children up to lead.
Hmm.
And that is the reason, sir, why we went to Washington, D.C. The Gen Z Constitution that our arrows created, the Executive Council, which covers 4 of our pillars that they want to live in: social wellness, social justice, social economics, and educational equity. These children created a Gen Z Constitution, and they were invited to the Department of Justice in spring to meet with Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark. And she gave it a thumbs up. And we're really excited.
It's a very good document. I have a copy of myself. Matter of fact, I was there when the presentation was done here in Atlanta, not in Washington, D.C. But it's a very good document. It's well thought out and well written. And I think you should share it with local municipalities that we have here. I think you should really do that.
And we have shared it with several lawmakers, but we definitely need to make sure that our local mayors are in receipt of it, for sure.
I think that would be awesome if you do that. So I started donating to your organization.
Tell me why.
Number one is the first thing I saw was you guys, the yourself and all the people that work with you, and the seriousness about what you were doing. That you were taking this serious. Nothing was going to stop you. Even if you didn't have a dime, you were still going to do the thing. I've been watching you for years. And then the other thing beyond that was the kids. I mean, the kids, I've never had anybody from the Arrow that didn't shake my hand and look me in the eye and tell me what their name was and could have a very good conversation with me. That's why I chose that my group, my donations and stuff, I usually share with the Arrows, because you are showing us progress.
Well, I appreciate that. We really do respect your partnership, and we honor it. And it's just been an honor to partner with you. We've known each other, for years.
Yeah.
And and it's good to know that people are watching the progress, because at the end of the day, what matters is the fruit of what we do. And it's wonderful to know that that is recognized. Seeing these children grow and blossom into great adults is what keeps me just excited, what keeps me up at night, what keeps me going, which is, it just has been an honor to serve.
Now, Dr. Taylor, you don't have to be one of the best children in the world to be an Arrow. You don't have to have a great grade point average. Or your family, your dad don't have to be a doctor, your mom have to be a teacher, all these little things. Describe the students that you get ready to come into the focus of the Arrow.
So the Youth Council, the students that have come in through the Youth Council and the executive cabinet members, we have a lot of great stories. And to answer your question, no, sir, you don't have to be a straight A student. You don't have to be a student that comes from 2-parent homes. You don't have to be any of those things that society says makes a wonderful student. You just have to be a young person that understands that opportunity is before them, and they want to make that opportunity happen in their lives, and they want to impact others. Here's a great story. 2016, we were hosting our Summer Leadership Institute at Langston Hughes High School. And as I usually do, I picked up the phone and I called Miss Dolores. And I said, Miss Dolores, we want to partner with the juvenile court system. And she said, okay. She said, I'll send you to a gentleman that can nominate a couple of students. Well, the outgrowth of that conversation created our next president of the youth organization. That young man, Aaron Hippoly, when he first came to Summer Leadership Institute, he was a little embarrassed because he'd made some choices that weren't as wise as some kids, but he wanted to be a difference maker. So he walked in, and his story actually was featured on CBS from Karen Greer. And he walked in and he said, I'm not sure if I fit in here. Well, after about a week and so, he knew he fit. He stood up at the close of Summer Institute in 2016, and he said, I've decided that I'm going to run for office. And he said that I'm one day going to run the UN. That young man is about to graduate from Georgia State University. He's gone with us on our college road trips. He became the president of our organization in 2017 to 18. I mean, he is an amazing young man. When we were at Woodland Middle School and shut the school down and did all males boot camp, Aaron Hippolyte was right there sharing his story and impacting young people. So that's just one story, just to prove that every child, every human being has potential. We just need somebody to plow it out, water it, help us know what it's like so that we can grow and hit our potential.
Do you consider this, the Arrows, a faith-based organization? And I ask that for a number of reasons, because some people look at that as good, and some people look at it as not so good. Depends on if you're pushing any one religion over another. Do you look at that, at the Arrow, as a faith-based organization in any way?
I am a woman of faith.
Right.
I am a woman of faith. We are an organization of diversity. So we have had, to answer your question, we are people of faith because we've had Muslims in our organization. We've also had people who were Christians in our organization. But we learned that in this world, diversity makes for a beautiful, beautiful, and eloquent tapestry.
A lot of times children have a lot of different problems, and they're having to do with the family. And you know, one person told me one time is, how can you educate a child who didn't eat that day? You know, and so all of the problems that you have, a lot of it comes from their living and their lifestyle. If I was a parent and I got a child who's been kind of rowdy, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna take you up to the Arrows and drop you off. How could I do? Would I be able to do that without bringing? I think it's necessary to get the child, but you got to bring the family too.
Absolutely.
Are the Arrows equipped to deal with issues that may and may not occur in their family?
So the students are trained to peer mentor, but the adults are trained to peer mentor as well. So that means that when a child's family comes to us, and especially during our most recent campaign that we're about to launch, The Right Side Up, we're going to be mentoring moms. We're going to be mentoring dads. We're going to be mentoring brothers and sisters. And the way we operate that, sir, is through what I call the concept of care. C is for concern. A is for advocacy. R is for response. And E is for empowerment. So if you care for the family, you can literally turn that family's life right side up.
You're doing a lot of great things. I sometimes wonder how many people you got working with you.
So believe it or not, because we believe so much in the village, a lot of the stuff that we do is because we pull organizations together. Atlanta Cares, they train our mentors. This is just an example. As a Man Thinks, they're going to be working with young boys. Miss Juwan Stewart, she does our communications. Miss Loretta Reed, she does our civility. We have folks that come in from other corporations, everywhere from Microsoft to the chamber. Folks come in and they volunteer time to work with us. Folks care. They really do.
The other thing, you know, we are in an election year. I'll say a little bit about that. And that is, you know, voter turnout is very terrible right now for what we're trying to do. It's appalling that the number of people who have not come out to vote. Is there any part of your program that empowers kids to learn politically? Emma Donnell used to tell me one time about people who didn't vote. She used to say there's too much blood on the floor. And she was exactly right. How can we get, I hope at the same time we're doing all these things, that we're empowering these young people to vote and to, at some point in time in their life, become part of the political process.
So my concept of that is stewardship. I believe if you train young people that they are stewards, not only of their bedrooms where they don't want anybody to come in and invade, but they are stewards of their home, of their community, of their street. What happens is on their watch. So yes, we do train them about civics. We train them about, that's part of the reason we went to Washington, D.C. That's part of one of our pillars, social justice and social wellness, because we realize that if we train them to be stewards, it won't necessarily be about the negative impression of politics. It'll be about creating a better world.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, sir.
I just left about a week ago. I was at the State of Education, where Dr. Mike Looney did an outstanding presentation on where we as South Fulton stand as schools and the academic process that we're making. And one thing that Dr. Looney talked about was, everybody who comes to school that have to go to college. So they now have a new school that they're opening pretty soon in College Park, where you can go and take your academic courses, but by the same time, you could get a certificate. Could be in welding, could be in cosmetology and things of nature. Do we preach in arrows? Do we let people know the alternatives to education outside of just going to college?
Yes, sir. So part of our core training is what we call gifting and career exploration assessments. Our students do what we call SWOTs. You know what that is, right? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so it is all wrapped up in them, what we call finding out what their bullseye is or their purpose is. That's their third rule of engagement. Focused leadership. You can't be focused if you don't know why you're even existing. And so we'll bring in folks like Miss Kathy Hood, who will come in and talk about gifting assessments. Like, how do you identify the thing that you love to do? And so it is all about our students finding purpose. Because you and I know that there are people who went to nursing school, and after they finished it, they hated it and ended up teaching. Or people who really wanted to be a chef, but then went to school to be a doctor, And so it's all about finding your personal lane of purpose. And that's what we call the bullseye.
Yeah, that's the term I hear all the time when I'm at the Arrow. But the folks holler bullseye.
Yeah.
I quickly learned that they must have hit their goal when they say that.
Yeah.
But Dr. Looney, he dealt with that a lot, and even in terms of salary disparity. Yes. He asked the question: does anybody know what a plumber makes? And the fact that some of these people coming out of this high school and going into with their certificates, and they're making more than teachers.
Yes.
They're more than teachers now. So I don't ever want us, while we talk about the arrows, I don't want to just overlook that, because that's very important into the makeup of a young person.
Well, you want to get up every morning and love what you do.
Mm-hmm.
One of my graduates, I'll never forget, he is now in piloting school in Oklahoma, Austin Jackson. And his parents initially said, well, why don't you go and get a traditional job? And he said, my parents want me to make a living. Get this. He said, I want to make a life.
Mm.
And I quoted him on that on several of our documents. And it spoke to me that it is essential, in order for us to live a thriving and fulfilling life, that we train everybody, not just children, but adults, to go after their purpose and the things that they love to do. And so when they're doing that, it creates such a great world. So you may not be making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year, but something about you says, I love getting up every single morning being a security guard. You know what I mean? So whatever that is, we have to train our people to be ready to do it so that they wake up every morning with purpose.
Hmm. We know our world is getting very technological competitive. Uh, how do you prepare them for that? I know it takes a lot, equipment and things of that nature. How do you all? How does the arrows kind of breach that gap?
So one thing again, we believe in the village. 2022, during our annual college road trip, we toured Black Wall Street, the original, and we met a gentleman by the name of Lael Alexander. He is an amazing top Forbes. He was on the Forbes front page a few years ago as a rising technology guru and mogul. He has created everything from the payment system when you're at the Olive Garden to technology with people who are going through healings because they're in medicine or in the hospital. So we expose our young people to people like that. And he has actually been able to help us outfit our innovation lab.
Okay, there you go. We lost you. I lost you for a minute.
Okay. We've been able to, he helped us outfit our innovation lab. On top of all of that, this past summer, the students started creating AI technology to help with mental illness because unfortunately, one of our former arrows passed away through suicide and they wanted to do something about it. So they are developing AI technology to help with that.
Well, AI is on the rise.
It is.
Might as well get to teach them now. How does recreational activities, sports, fit into the picture of what you're trying to do? Because the classroom is always great, but I used to tell people all the time when I was commissioner that a lot of stuff that I learned about politics, I learned on the 84-foot basketball court in high school.
Absolutely.
So how does that kind of merge with your disciplinary type thing by integrating sports?
Wonderful. Two things. So we've always had physical and mental discipline as a part of our training. One of our former colleagues, Major Henry Washington, he actually would come in and they would do boot camp activities, like physical boot camp activities. That's one thing. Then the other thing is through our teen anti-violence events, there's basketball. We did what we call a Play for Peace event down at the then State Farm Arena, now Phillips Arena, Phillips then State Farm, anyways. So the students actually played the local police officers, and then a few years later, the high schoolers got together, all the local high schoolers, and they played each other during this Play for Peace event. It was amazing. So we definitely do believe in physical activity. And as a matter of fact, during our summer elementary STEAM camps, we've done everything from soccer to karate.
Mm-hmm. You got such wonderful kids that I've personally seen. A lot of people happen. How do we get the kids from the arrows to come out and let people see who they are and see the magnificent things that they're doing and the magnificent mentorship that is coming down from you guys? I'd like to see more of that.
So we are now gearing up, sir, for establishing chapters. And so once we establish chapters in local municipalities, that's going to help with the outgrowth of what we do. And we also are going to be focusing on getting back into the schools. We were heavily involved in the schools pre-pandemic. And now that all that's kind of calming down, we should be able to get back into the schools and more students will be privy to our actual mentoring program.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any students that really actually teach classes actually as a volunteer or something like that with the arrows?
So you mean arrows teaching arrows or going in and
arrows teaching arrows?
Oh yeah, we have that all the time. We have that all. They'll even teach adults if you let them.
Well, from what I've seen, they could actually teach a whole lot of adults.
Yeah.
But how do you get to that genuine? I see genuine respect in the kids. for what they're doing. They're mannerable. I mean, how do we get to that point? I mean, I don't know how they were when they came in. All right.
Okay.
How do we get to that point where there's so much respectability?
So I'm an out of the box thinker. And I really do believe that if you open up the door to opportunity and allow our children to think,
yes,
they will walk right on through that door. And you'll begin to see that as you show them the way, they model it. Think about how many of our young boys right now are modeling the OGs because they feel like the OGs respect them. So can you imagine if we were to get leaders, key leaders in our communities to just simply adopt a child? And I mean, literally become like a dad, a play mom. These children will follow suit. It is literally up to us to be that example.
Well, sometimes that comes with a lot of fear on behalf of the adult that does that. You can't. Well, I wouldn't say can't blame them, because you see so much on television where a person may want to do what's right, and in turn becomes a victim of what they're trying to do. So there's some skepticism.
But if you listen to them, one of the things that we do a lot is we listen to them. Our environment is like a think tank environment, sir, where our students literally, they have the floor and we listen to them. And from listening to them, they're able to help us build what they want to live in. Because see, we're already here, right? We're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old, and we've already kind of lived. They want to live, and they want to see the world they want to live in. And they want to build it. So if we can give them the platform where we listen to them and help them to understand that we respect their voice. Right. Now, it doesn't mean we're always going to agree with their voice, but we respect their voice. And just to be heard makes a significant difference in a child's life.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dolores has a question for you. Hold on.
Sure.
Hi, Dr. Maya. I have two questions that have come in.
Sure.
First question is the program limited to elementary, middle school, or high school?
So during the summer, we have an elementary STEAM camp. During the fall, it's middle school through high, but all of our outreaches are open to all of the students. So if we do an anti-violence event, they're going to be open to all of the students. If we do a literacy festival or a film festival, it's going to be open to all of the students. All of our events are open to the entire public.
Okay.
But middle school through high students sit on the executive cabinet.
Perfect. Second question, how would a school be considered for the Arrow program?
They would simply need to just send me an email or give me a call. It's just that simple.
Give them that email.
Yes, the email is info@eagleseconomiccdc.org. info@eagleseconomiccdc.org. And our phone number is 770-312-1586. 770-312-1586.
Okay. These programs are so outstanding, Dr. Taylor, but let's talk a little bit about how do we track the academic excellence of the kids? And I mean, not just while they're in the position of Arrow, but in high school. And if that does not speak well of a child, how does the program assist the child in getting him or her the way he needs to be?
When we were in the schools, we literally had the relationship with the principal, and the principal or the counselor helped us track the success of the students. Here's just an example. I remember when we were at one middle school, we talked about ways to improve the school environment, even down everything from the homework to whether or not they liked the lunch they were being served. So we taught them how to advocate for themselves. And then we worked closely with the school counselor or the advocate, the mediator or the liaison of the school to track what the students are doing and the improvement. And we received a lot of great accolades because of that.
So if I'm not,
So we work closely with the schools.
so if I'm having a problem with calculus and I'm an arrow,
Mhm.
the arrow could help me and my family to find some means by which to upgrade my grade. Am I hearing you saying that?
Yeah, so we believe, as I said, we believe in the village. So we are very resourceful and we keep in our pocket, as it were, many resources, everyone from tutoring to help with homelessness, to counseling, to insurance, everything you can name. We reach out and we go grab whatever resource is there to assist that child. We have quite a few mentors and quite a few tutors.
You know, you hit on this a couple of times, but I think from my heart to your heart, how important is it to you, the family piece in all of this? I mean, it starts from the family. How do you and the Arrows and your organization try to mold that family into what it needs to be for the advancement of that child?
It absolutely has to start with care. I remember when we've had other students that came from the court system. One of the things that I made sure that the parents knew that if we couldn't provide a resource that they needed, we would reach out to one of our partnering agencies and provide. One of the things that I truly believe, one of my personal philosophies is a child can only be as successful as its foundation, and its foundation is a family. So we have to build up the families. It's very important. And that's why we want the community to get behind us with our Right Side Up campaign, where we're going to target these families. And soon we're going to be releasing the marketing material so that you can find out where the classes start and which days they are going to take place. We're even going to have leadership classes for those that work with students and mentoring, because everything starts again with mentoring and stewardship. We are committed to turning our communities right side up.
And I'm sure that you track a lot of this stuff. You're doing such a wonderful job. And the thing about it, I'm not saying this because you're on the show, because I'm saying this for what I've seen over the years. How would you evaluate, say, for example, how effective is a community partner?
Very. Like, you really cannot do anything. It takes a village. Very important. Everyone from a homeowners association to a coach in a municipality that coaches a football team. Everybody must be on deck. So it is crucial. It literally gets us to the summit. I don't believe in moments. I only believe in movements. So when we work independently, it's a moment. Gone are the days of working in silos. It's over. It's done, right? Mm-hmm. We have to work together. The village must rise up. And that is one of the reasons why we declared a state of emergency. We have to rise up as a village, show one voice and say, we've had enough is enough with our babies. They're going to have a successful future.
So let me say this another way.
Okay.
I'm a volunteer.
Yes.
I'm in. And I'm teaching whatever. All right. But let's say that I'm not doing the best job that I could possibly do as a volunteer. Mm-hmm. And is there any way where I can be evaluated to show the progress that transcends over to the kids?
Yes, absolutely. So we do sit down with our volunteers. We host summits and trainings. So yes, sir, everyone is evaluated, including me, because I believe in accountability. I have a board that evaluates.
Yeah. I think you got a new board chairman, don't you?
Yes. Do you know Miss Pinky Sullivan?
I met her at the last event.
Okay, our former one was Dr. Lewis Oken.
Yeah, we were up there. Mm-hmm. The Arrows on the right track. They're doing great things, and it's the product, the finished product, that makes the difference. Mm-hmm. And I can see, I can see from my own experience with the arrows that the finished products, some of the products are not finished, but they're on their way. They're on their way to becoming finished. And that takes a lot of time. Now, I understand that because when I was commissioner, I had 5 youth organizations, okay? And I understand the wear and tear and the time it takes to do this. But I also understand that Reverend Dr. Marion Taylor also has a family. How do we manage those 2 tiers?
Right? That's a wonderful question. So easily. Now, well, one thing is I believe that if we all do it together, it works. So my family has always been all of my children, my husband and I, we've just really always been community oriented people. So as a family, we do things together. And when we need to take breaks, we take breaks. That's essential. When we need mental breaks, we take mental breaks. That's essential. Absolutely. And sometimes you have to say no. No doesn't mean that it's something wrong with the proposition. It means it's not my opportunity, you know? So if it's not my opportunity, it's someone else's, and someone else can handle it way better than I am. I never try to be superwoman because that job's already taken. So what I just try to be is just the best Maya Taylor that I can be.
How much access do, say, a member of the Arrows have to you or anybody else that works with you beyond the regular 5 o'clock in the evening?
So those are my babies. Okay, so my family knows that those are my babies. So if there's a crisis, if something happens, they need a question. I'll never forget when the pandemic first hit. I was getting calls from my college babies down to my middle school babies, like, what is going on? Well, I couldn't answer that question, but I sure knew who could. So I would pick up my phone and I'd call those who were involved in the political arena or whomever and say, this is what we need to do. I had one of my babies, she actually called me from Alabama State, and she said, they just told us to get off campus. They told us to get off campus. And I said, okay, hold on, let me call you right back. I picked up the phone and called State Representative Derek Jackson. I said, Derek, what should I tell him to do? He said, tell him to get off campus. So I told her to get off campus, and then I calmed her down. I prayed with her and I calmed her down. And then we kind of held a meeting with all of them and said, we don't understand what's happening, but we're going to get through this. And so that's just an example.
Yeah, that sounds like Derek Jackson. As he's a great friend. I'm just teasing.
He is. I love him.
Great friend to me. It takes a lot of hours, a lot of time. That's why I asked that question. And I'm asking a question from experience.
Right.
And you have found out, like I found out, that your family has to be involved in what you're doing. I mean, really involved, not just how was your day, but in what you're doing. I can remember one of my organizations was, what was the DADS program, John? The DADS program I had when and my youngest dad was 14. And I can remember having to jump in the middle of the night, having to get out because someone jumped out of a window and ran down the street, or somebody didn't have something. So that's why it's so important that if you're going to be involved with a child or a group that recognizes children and their behavior, you can't just walk away. It's a 24-hour job to do this. And you, young lady, you're one of the best I know at it. What is your immediate future right now? No, I know you talked about chapters and stuff, but what is your immediate future right now for the Arrow?
So right now we're going to continue in the vein of training them to work on their projects, which is the AI for mental wellness. We're also working on getting in front of the governor through our declaration of emergency to establish a statewide youth commission so that the children will have a voice. It's gotten a thumbs up from several lawmakers. And so we know it's going to be a long haul, but we're going to make that thing happen, right? So those are the two things, and as well as empowering the entire family. Those three things are what we're focusing on right now.
Yeah. And you know, the criminal justice conversation is ongoing.
Yes.
And has to talk with the pipeline, the prison, some of the little catchy phrases that people like to say. But the debate that seems to be the top is whether or not the judicial system is actual just punishment, rather than rehabilitation. It makes you go when you think about it, because you think about all these people we have in our jail system here. They really shouldn't be in there. They really shouldn't be in there. And go ahead.
No, go on. Let me let you ask the question.
Yeah, and I need organizations like the Arrows to start thinking about that stuff and putting their messages together along with the community, and find out a way that there's got to be a better way than punishment. You know. Yeah.
So part of the project, Service Learning Project, and you were there, Mayor, that they completed during Summer Institute was they created a city.
Yes, they did.
And the city was based on their 4 pillars. And they were really, really committed to the social justice piece. The city's name is Matawasara. They came up with that name, where the sky meets the water. And they designed for 3 weeks, they worked to design a better social justice system. They even did mock court trial with Judge Oliver with the city of East Point. We were with her for 2 days. It was amazing. We started the Institute off with those 2 days with Judge Oliver. And so that helped them to build around it. So I would welcome anyone to come see their design. It's at our corporate headquarters. And it's what we would call an eco-friendly 21st century city that we think is going to take place that will answer that question about the social justice system. Because one of the things that they said was, it's just not working. It's not working. And they actually have some answers. So please, anyone's welcome to pick up the phone, call me, and I'll let them come on in and see what they've created.
I've seen all iterations of that city.
Yeah.
One of your programs, and listen, some of that stuff I wanted to put into our city charter.
Yes.
As we go forward, maybe sometime in the future that I would come out and talk about what does it take to make that city.
Absolutely, that'd be wonderful.
What does it take to make that city as we go forward in the future?
That's wonderful.
Well, I tell you.
They want her to repeat the website.
They want you to repeat the website.
Yes. Our website is www.thesfayc.org. www.thesfayc.org. And you can visit us at any time. We're also on most of the social media platforms.
You get that, Dolores?
The info. They want the info at Eagles.
The email is info@Eagles Economic CDC.org. info@Eagles Economic CDC.org.
2 more questions.
We have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
Are there fees for summer camps, and how soon is registration for summer camp?
Great question. Yes, there are. And our fees, we are working on our fees over the next couple of weeks. They're typically about $100 a week for our summer camps, but we do also get a lot of sponsorship. And registration for that will open up typically in January.
Okay. What's the next question?
That's it.
Okay. Listen, it's been a joy. Every time I'm with you, Maya, it's always a joy. And this has been more than a joy today, that I get the ability to help you put the message out about what I've been seeing over the last 3 or 4 years that I've known you and you've had this program. You're going to I think it's about your third office now that I know
Yeah,
of.
it is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. That's just a business up there. But God bless you what you're doing and the product. At the end of the day, it's all about the product.
It is.
What is the project going to say for all the hard work that you've done? What is the project going to say about it? And from what I've gotten here, I tell you that the product will speak well from what I've seen. Any last words for you today?
I want to thank everyone that's listening tonight for being a member of the village. And I specifically want to thank you, sir, because you care. And if all of us collectively care, the trajectories in life will be great for our children. All we have to do is extend the bow, and they will head in the right direction, because it's time for them to stop targeting their classmates and start targeting their potential. Thank you so much. It has been an honor.
And thank you so much for being who you are and doing what you do. We really appreciate it. The community joins in applauding you.
Thank you.
For the great job that you're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Once again, you need to know that the topics and opinions are those of the show host, which is me, and the guests, and not WCEG Network. We want to thank you for your continued support. We have one more. Is it one more? One more on the 15th, where we'll be bringing in someone from the Department of GDOT, Department of Transportation, which would be a very, very informative issue. Then we start back up in January the 17th, I understand. So, man, keep doing what you're doing. We're going to have you back and some other things to track your progress with the arrows and do good. And as always, as I tell you before I leave, in all you're getting, just get a good understanding. Thank you all so much. And thank you, Maya.
My pleasure. Thank you.